Hi, this is RGK, and today I'm showing you Cursed Castilla, which is a commercial release of a freeware game called Maldita Castilla. So a few more extras, a few more levels, and the game is now on Xbox and on Steam. Which is quite nice because then you can have it in your library with achievements and everything, and also you can give money to the developer, but if you don't want to, you can still play the freeware version. So the developer of the game, Locomalito, is actually doing everything by himself, except for the music, so coding, graphics and level design, everything, which is quite impressive. And he was inspired by Ghosts and Goblins, so you'll find a lot of gameplay elements in common. He also makes other games inspired by other classics, but for this one, Ghosts and Goblins, was on arcade and on the NES. So here, improvement to Ghosts and Goblins, you start with the sword so that you have to throw. Another improvement is you can upgrade the weapon, but you can actually pick your upgrade just by waiting instead of relying on RNG. I really like the bolas. So something to know is that you can only throw 2 projectiles, so you have to wait for the projectiles to actually leave the screen or hit an enemy before you can throw more. Which also means that you cannot spam, because if you spam and the projectiles and you cannot throw a new one yet and an enemy gets in close, you get hit. So you really need to think before you shoot. You can shoot up, down, left, right. So here I'm showing up against this bird. Here we go. You can sometimes find an extra power. This is not something you can choose. It's like decided by the level in which you are. And here it's a shield, so like extra hurt if you will, but sometimes you can find a fairy that will shoot a projectile and so on. So this game is inspired by an old game, so it's old school and retro, and which is both good and not. So for instance, the jumps, I don't really like the jumps. They are quite heavy and stiff. You still have some control, so when you jump you can like decide go a bit to the left, to the right, a bit change direction, but not by much. So sometimes in the platforming sections you just die. So sometimes in the platforming sections you just die because you couldn't control where you were going to land, and can be quite annoying, but okay. So new enemy type already. So there are tons of enemy types, tons of different ways that they attack you, different patterns and different bosses and demi-bosses and so on. So the game is very, very rich, and there is a lot of variety, lots of different sections and everything like that. It's really nice work. So as you can see, I have a number of lives, so ×3 at the top left corner. So don't be too mad about lives, because there are continues and there is an infinite number of continues, but still be mad, at least I am, because after 4 continues it removes your score. I don't really care all that much about the score, but also apparently it prevents you from reaching the good ending. So you would have to finish everything in under 4 continues to reach the good ending, which is like 2 more levels after the other ending. I don't really like this. It's already quite difficult to finish the game, even with infinite continues. Like for instance, when I finished, there was a leaderboard, and I was number 10 on the leaderboard, which means that probably around like 10-15 people finished the game. Then imagine how many people can do this and under 4 continues. That's insane. And even worse, you can only, the last 2 levels that I mentioned for the good ending, you can only unlock them with a few gems that you find hidden in the game. Like you have to find the keys and you open a door and you can finally access the secret gem. So you have to find all 5 or 7, I don't remember, gems to open the last door. And it would be alright if you could actually decide to go back to a level. Like let's say you're chapter 6 and you say, oh, I want to go back to chapter 3, but no, you cannot. You have to finish the game in one run. You cannot go back and explore a level or something like that, which is really annoying. With this, the hidden gems that you need to find in one run and the limited number of continues to access the good ending, well, I don't think I'll ever be able to, I mean, except if I wanted to really spend a lot of time on the game, I will never see the last 2 levels, and I really want to see them because there are so many different enemies and the design and everything is really good, so I'm quite disappointed by that. So, you know, it's like some retro stuff, like in Ghosts and Goblins, you finish the game and it tells you, oh, well, no, you have to start over, and then you can finally reach the true ending. And these are the things, the retro things that I don't really like and don't want to see in modern games. So yeah, this game is retro to the bone, and it's both good and bad. But overall the game is really good. Just a bit tainted. My experience was a bit tainted by the difficulty and some areas that we'll never access. And the difficulties are some sections. So here, this section is actually quite original. I mean original. It's a change of pace, and there are lots of these sections are different from just exploring the level. You have like a elevator sequence. You have a sequence that I hate about jumping on turtles. Actually, I'm gonna release this video as well of the one about jumping on turtles. It's horrible. So you have to get across a river, and some turtles are traveling, so you have to jump on them, but you don't, I mean, they don't appear straight away, so you have to wait for them to appear, then you can jump. But on top of that, there are spikes in the sky, so you cannot just jump anywhere, anytime, and there are enemies coming at you, so it's horrible. And yeah, I don't imagine finishing it in under 4 continues. The difficulty is really brutal. The enemy design is quite interesting. Like, some of the enemies are inspired by Spain or medieval stuff, and sometimes it looks like Berserk, like the manga, you know, with all the demons and stuff. Really cool. Okay, and here is again another section, like more vertical, with a different way to fight enemies. So they are first laid in eggs, and then they will spawn from the eggs, and they can overwhelm you if you don't kill them all. So overall the game is really good, really nice, tons of variety, tons of enemies to fight and so on, so really nice, but difficult. You really need to be someone that enjoys retro platformers or speedrun, anything like that. Otherwise, it's gonna be tough. Okay, let's quickly look at the options. So you can change the ratio or add bands to the side of the screen, which is better. You can CRT effect on or off. You can display the time if you want to speedrun. So keyboard support, you can rebind all your keys, but you cannot have W and up at the same time, because I mean you have to aim. Controllers, Xbox type of controllers only. You cannot have the other types of controller, which is a bit sad. So you can play all the music from the game, which is good, but I don't see the point of playing them in the game. It's better out of the game. And you have a bestiary with all the different enemies. So yeah, quite a good game, and really impressive work from the developer. Just a bit too retro. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.